Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you how I made this princess dart bustier gown with a puffy sleeve. So if you haven't yet seen the drafting tutorial, please go down to my channel, or I'm going to leave the link at the description box. And if it's your first time viewing my channel, please hit on the subscribe button. So let's start. So the first part I will be working on is the front pattern, which I cut on fold and I added ½ inch round. So I didn't add at the armhole. So the next step is to come down by 2 inches, and from that 2 inches I'll be creating a semicircle. So by the time you create one on this part, you're going to also have another semicircle at the other parts, and I'm going to cut it out to form a round shape. After cutting it out on the main fabric, I'm going to place and also cut out at my lining piece also. So I'm just going to fold it this way, and which I have gone ahead to iron gum stay on it, and I will place and also cut out or trace out that same semicircle. But before I do that, I'll just go ahead to pin it to make sure it fits perfectly. So after I'm done cutting out, this is what I have, and the next step is to go ahead to join my front piece together. So to join it, I'm just going to open it up this way, and this is what you're going to have. So what I'll do right now is to take the sides of my pattern, and I'm going to place, and I will stitch with ½ inch. So if you're finding it difficult to join, you can as well go ahead to pin it down before joining. So you'll be repeating this on the both sides. After repeating it also, you're going to also join the main fabric the same way that you joined your lining. You're going to open it up, and you're going to place and stitch with ½ inch. So just like I said, if you're having difficulties in joining, you can as well pin first before joining. It will make it easier for you to join. So I'm done joining my fabric, and this is what I have. So I just have little excess by the side. What I'm going to do is just to go ahead to retrace my armhole. After that, I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to place it the right side facing the right side of the lining. So what I'm going to do right now is to stitch around this circle. After I'm done stitching around the circle, this is what I have, and I'll just go ahead to notch it so that it's going to be relaxed. After I'm done notching, I'm going to pass my main fabric into the lining this way. So you're just going to turn it to the right side just this way, and this is what you're going to have after you're done turning. After you're done turning, you're going to make sure your fabric relaxes well on the lining, and if you have any excess, you're going to go ahead to cut it out at this point. After you're done doing that, you go ahead to iron it and make sure the circle is flat. So I'm done ironing, and the next thing is to turn the neckline. So to turn the neckline, you can go ahead to use a bias strip, or you can just cut out a fabric from the main fabric you're using. So that is what I did. I cut about 1.5 inches and measured my neckline. So I'm going to sew with ½ inch and turn it up. So after I'm done turning up my neckline, this is what I have. So I'm going to flip my fabric this way, and I'm going to place the armhole matching together, and I'm going to stitch with ½ inch. And on the other side also, I'm going to place my armhole together, and I'm going to stitch it matching together with ½ inch. So after I'm done sewing, this is what I have, and we'll head over to the skirt pattern. So I've placed my pattern and I cut it out. So on my fabric, I removed few inches. So why I did this is to create a turn up effect on the skirt. So I'm going to open up my skirt this way, and I'm going to place the lower part of the lining at the lower part of the skirt, and I'm going to stitch with ½ inch. After I'm done stitching with ½ inch at the lower part, this is what I have, and I'm going to flip my fabric this way, And the next thing I'll do is just to go ahead and measure 1.5 inches. Remember, we added 2 inches for turn up allowance. We first of all stitched half inch, and then we are going to measure 1.5 for turn up effects. With that, I have the 2 inches I added extra to my skirt removed, and it will be serving as a turn up effect on the skirt. And after pinning that, I'm just going to run half inch by the side and half inch by the other side also. So here is my skirt pattern, and this is what I have after I'm done sewing. So just the same way I turned my front pattern, you're also going to turn your back pattern the same way. So to get the center of the skirt, I'm going to fold it into two and notch. So after notching, I'm going to bring my front pattern, we'll be joining it together with the lower pattern, and I'll also go ahead to fold it this way, and I'm going to notch the center. So after I'm done notching the center, I'll be matching the center of the skirt and the center of the upper part together. So I'm just going to flip it over this way and make sure the notched part is meeting, and I'll stitch with half inch. So after I'm done sewing, this is what I have, and we'll be moving over to the back part of this dress. So now here is my back pattern, and I have two pieces. So I went ahead to add half inch round also, but I didn't add at the armhole, and I didn't also add at the zipper allowance because I used 2 inches to cut out my zipper allowance. So here I have my pattern, and I didn't slit it into two, so I'll just go ahead to slit my back pattern into two this way. So after I'm done slitting it, I'm going to go ahead to join it up. So I'm just going to open up my pattern for the back, and I'm going to place it on it this way. I'm going to open it up and place this side on it, and I will just go ahead to stitch it with half inch, and on the other side also I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to place and I will stitch it also. So after I'm done joining, this is what I have, and you're also going to repeat this for your lining also. So after I'm done joining my lining, sorry I didn't iron out because there was no light, so I'm going to turn it up with the lining piece right now. So now I'm going to place the right side of the fabric on the right side of the material, and I'm going to stitch up the neck, the zipper side, and the other side of the dress. And I'm also going to repeat it on this part also, stitch up the neck, the zipper, and the sides also. So after I'm done stitching, this is what I have, and I turned my skirt just like I turned the front part. So right now I'm going to place and stitch with half inch at this part, and on the other side of the part of the back, sorry, I'm going to place and stitch with half inch also. So after I'm done stitching that, I'm just going to go ahead and join the back and attach my zipper to it. So after I'm done joining the back piece, the next step is to join it together with the front. So remember, we used a bias tape on the front. So what I'm going to be doing right now is to use the back to turn the neckline of the front. So to do that, I'm going to place the front in between the back, which is the back lining and the back main fabric this way, and I'm going to go ahead to stitch with half inch at the shoulder line. And on this part also, I'm going to repeat the same process, place it together, and I'm going to flip to the other side, and I will stitch with half inch also at the shoulder part. So next I will be moving over to the sleeve. So for my sleeve, I folded 15 inches on fold, which is 30 inches, and for the length I use 15 and a half, and I added 1 inch for folding because I'll add elastic. So I just went ahead to do a freehand sketch sleeve. So I'm still going to fold the upper part of my sleeve at the armhole, so that's why I cut it this way. So I went ahead to notch the center also. So next I will be unpinning my sleeve. After that, the next step is just to go ahead and I will fold with 1/2 inch and 1 at this part. So I'll do that for both sides because I'll be passing an elastic through it. So after I'm done folding, the next step is to attach the sleeve to the dress. So to attach the sleeve, I'm just going to open up my dress this way, and I'm going to place the front part of my lining facing the front part of my fabric, and I'll pin that notched part on the sleeve, and I'll go ahead to fold it at the upper part this way. So after folding it, the remaining I'm going to stitch it down. On the other side also, I'm going to fold while sewing, and the remaining part I'm going to sew it down to the armhole. So this is just to give a pleated effect at the shoulder. So on the other side also, I'll repeat the same process. So I'll go ahead and pass elastic at the lower part of my sleeve. So you have to measure where you want your sleeve to stop. So after that, the next step is just to fold my fabric to the wrong side, and I'll start imputing my measurement. So I'll mark my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waistline, and place my tape from my waistline, measure 7 inches for my hip line. So I'm just going to place my tape and measure what I have here. And so after measuring out, I have 20.5. So my bust circumference is 33. 33 divided by 2, I have 16.5. So taking out 16.5 from 20.5, I have 3 inches. I'm just going to share it and mark 1.5 inches on this point. Go ahead, place my tape, and I'm going to mark my bust circumference at this part. So going down to my under bust also, I'm going to measure what I have on that part. So after measuring, I have 18. So my under bust circumference is 28. 28 divided by 2, I have 14. So I'll be taking out 14 from that 18 inches. That's 4. So I'll be sharing 2 inches at both sides. At the waistline, I'm going to measure what I have at that point also. So I have 18 inches as well, and I'm going to divide my waist measurement into 2, which is 28 divided by 2, I have 14. Taking out 14 from 18, I have 4 left. So I'll be sharing 2 inches at both sides. And going down to my hip, I'll go ahead to insert my hip circumference at this point, measure what I have, and then I'm going to share the remaining into 2. Then I'll just go ahead and mark that. So after marking that, I'll just go ahead to take what I have down. If you want to have a fitted effect, you can go ahead and minus 1.5 inches. At the sleeve, I'm going to stitch with 1 inch. And before you stitch with 1 inch at the sleeve, please make sure that you measure your armhole circumference. So my armhole circumference is 16 divided by 2. I have 8, and I will mark it and then stitch it down, and repeat the same process for this side. So after sewing, this is my final look. So if you find this tutorial very interesting and educative, please hit on the subscribe button, and don't forget to leave your comments at the comment section. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always supporting my channel. See you in the next video.